Welcome to I Said What I Said. I'm Brad Wakai. That's Tyson Gentri. Folks, we got one game left. We have the Super Bowl set. It's the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Philadelphia Eagles. We got a ton of time to preview it. We got a ton of time to talk about our analysis. We got a ton of time to start putting together our bets. That's going to be later in the week. What we're going to do earlier this week is first react to the AFC Championship game. The next episode that's going to come out is going to be the NFC Championship game. So we'll dive right into it. There's going to be quick hitters. We got a lot of content coming your way this week, so it should be a fun one. But Tyson, once again, the Kansas City Chiefs prevail over the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs. That is now 4 straight wins. Josh Allen can't get it done. We'll get that whole reaction. But what did you think watching this game and just like the overall thought? And we'll kind of go through that before we hit different notes here.
Well, I think everybody's in agreement. It just feels inevitable. Like it's crazy stuff with this team. Like even when Buffalo is moving the football and James Cook looks awesome, and they finally have a turnover. They get the announcer jinx from Tony Romo, and even in those moments, it was like, well, they're still going to find a way. And of course, Mahomes does. And it was just another example of like these guys are a little better than we give them credit for. I know it's stupid to say of a team going for a three-peat, 5 Super Bowls in 6 years, but the discourse has become so much on, the officiating is crazy and these things are rigged and blah, 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 blah. And wherever you stand on that is fine. I'm not going to sit here and defend some of these calls, but they continue to win games. They're the worst 15-2 team of all time, Brad. But they won 15 games and going back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it just whatever you want to think, Tyson. We'll kind of get into the Chiefs angle. The Chiefs have been playing with fire all year. That's what it felt like. And then when it mattered most, once again, they put together an elite performance. Patrick Mahomes' 99th percentile game in terms of drop back success rate. Like, it was just unbelievable. And, Tyson, there's a lot of stuff that came out after the Bills beat the Ravens, and it was like, okay, maybe the Ravens would have been a tougher challenge for the Chiefs. And, that's been said about the Ravens. We don't have to rehash all this, but the Bills defense got carved up the entire game. And then Tony Romo was doing a soliloquy like every chance he could about the injury that happened to their starting quarterback, the Bills. And I think it did play a factor, right? I mean, Benford is like a huge part of that defense when he went down. I mean, 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐚 is awful. I mean, he was so bad in this game. This guy, a former first-round pick, I mean, he was getting burnt every single chance that the Chiefs could take advantage of it. It was shocking. But Tyson, again, we talk about the success that Mahomes had. We talk about Josh Allen. It came down to 2 single plays, like it always does in these matchups in the playoffs.
Yeah, and it comes down coaching.
Well, that too. But the 4th down and 1, and I want to get into this with you, and then the drop at the end from 𝐬𝐮𝐞𝐽. Those 2 plays decided if the Bills are going to be competing in the Super Bowl or if the Chiefs are going to go and have an opportunity to win a three-peat. And once again, it was the Bills who did not make either one of those plays. So I want to start with the 4th and 1. What is your thoughts? Because social media is going crazy. Everybody's losing their mind. What did you think of that play?
Did he get the first down? Maybe. I don't know. Like, I'm sure an overhead view would have been awesome and probably told us everything we needed to know. And they didn't give it to us. Whether you think there's a reason they didn't give it to us or not is a different story here. But maybe he had the ball in the other hand, and we saw the far side official run in and looks like he was going to award the first down. But that's neither here nor there. Like, I didn't mean to butt in and yell coaching, but you can't spam like these quarterback. You can call it a tush push if you want. He's not low enough. He doesn't look like the way the Eagles run it. It's almost like a quarterback counter off the left side over and over and over again when they showed you they had your number. And James Cook has 85 yards in the game. Either find something new. Like, can we get a run pass option with Josh Allen? Can we at least get him on a boot and put a tight end out there to catch the football? This feels harsh, but it was like, this is your shot to beat these guys, and this is what you came up with. It deserved, man. That's kind of the way it felt.
It was crazy, Tyson. I felt like I was taking crazy pills. What is that, Zoolander? When we're like, what are we doing here? Everybody in the freaking world's watching this thing. Like, and the broadcast said it, and I'm getting pissed off here because this is the type of stuff that drives me crazy when we're talking about coaching. I mean, these guys get paid millions of dollars to make these decisions. And if you're the freaking offensive coordinator, you're Joe Brady, you're supposed to be this wonderkind, right? Like, you know him well from the LSU days. He was a grad assistant at Penn State. This is a guy that overlaps between Tyson and myself. This guy's getting freaking head coaching interviews. This guy can't tell his quarterback, hey, brother, they got your number on the freaking left guard QB sneak. There's a difference between being interested or stubborn and like, believe in yourself and like, hey, we're confident and this is going to work, and just being fucking stupid. And that was fucking stupid. Dude, they had your number on this. They didn't do the hard count until the 1/4, that like the one when Josh Allen had to jump over like he's Drew Brees at the goal line. How about mix it in? Like, it was just so bad. And then the biggest moment, you go back to that play, it was crazy. I mean, it was driving me absolutely bonkers. And Tyson, that is coaching, and you're right. And you that like the way you felt when I was talking about this, you're like coaching. Like, that's what we've been talking about with the Bills. It's been a frustrating point of contention for us here. Going back to the play, I thought it was a first down. Like, Josh Allen's freaking getting split in half by the line.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, like, oh, the yellow is not the actual first down marker. No, but the hash mark was. And this guy's the one where he's holding the ball is over the line. And here's the other thing. If we're not going to use replay to actually get the call on the field right, we're going to be like, well, we couldn't overturn it through replay. There wasn't enough evidence. What are you talking about? Yeah, there was. Ball crossed the line. Like, let's quit doing that nonsense. Like, we have technology. It's supposed to get the call on the field right. Stop going with the guys who, one, the guy's not even looking at the ball on the other side, and he overrules the other side. So use the camera when the ball crosses the line, and that's a first down. Like, this is just remedial stuff, Tyson. We're talking about this again. It drives me insane.
It's a multi-billion-dollar league, and I know American football fans might not want to hear it, but Brad has the U.S. soccer banner behind him. And look, I'm not advocating for all the stuff they got in soccer, but some of these things, it is like, come on, you can't afford to chip the ball or put like something somewhere that we can get a more definitive look at this. And I'm sorry, Bills fans, that it came down to this, but this isn't like, would they have won the game if they got that first down? Maybe. But that's not the way that the game played out, and them losing that football game like wasn't 100% on not getting that first down. There were other mini coaching things throughout that you know, Andy Reid and Spags have these guys' number. It's another instance where Andy Reid just kind of does what he does and pants a Sean McDermott defense on national, like in front of the whole country. And look, we're not going to be as harsh on Josh Allen maybe as other people were, or I don't know where Brad's going with this, but it wasn't. This is the difference between him and Lamar Jackson, as we talked like last week about Lamar doesn't get it done again in the playoffs, is you can't really pin the loss on, like, even the last play I see Ben Solak online, should have thrown the orbit route. Okay, buddy. Yeah, no. Yeah. Why don't you do that? Why don't we ignore the superhuman throw that he put 40 yards and that Dalton Kincaid should have came up with? We're not having this conversation if your first round tight end makes a play.
Exactly. And that's the other point here. And I want to kind of lead into that, because I do want to lay this out for everybody. It's like, yeah, there was so much time left, you know, when that occurred. And that's true. There's 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter there was 13 minutes left in the fourth quarter, when this happened. But I want to really lay this out here. The Chiefs scored a touchdown with just under 2 minutes left in the second quarter to go up 21-10. Everybody thought that was teetering. Chiefs get the ball in the second half. They said, if the Bills don't score, this game is over. Now, conventional wisdom would say, well, we've seen like 17 of these games between these two, and it's always like close, so probably not. But that was the feeling. Josh Allen responds, goes down, and they have a huge touchdown for the Bills. Chiefs have to kneel it out. It's 21-16 at half. Chiefs have a good drive going, have to punt the ball off their eighth play. All of a sudden, the Bills go down, score a touchdown, 12 plays. They take a 22-21 lead. You're like, whoa. And then it really was like, wow, the Bills might be able to do this, because it was a 3-and-out for the Chiefs. The Bills have the ball. They got 9 plays. They're going down. They are marching. And it's another one. They convert a fourth down, and they're in another situation on the Kansas City side. They don't get it. Controversial call, whatever. They just didn't get the first down. Chiefs go score a touchdown. They go up 29-22. It completely changed the game. So people can say, oh, well, there was so much time left. Yeah, but if the Chiefs go and – or I'm sorry, if the Bills score there, they go up 29-21. And then we're talking about a completely different game. Chiefs have to come from behind, not the Bills, and we're talking about it. Didn't work out that way. So all the way down to this at the end of the game here. How the hell do you not catch that football?
Make a play.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, all of this kind of culminates. We could talk about that. There was one play that had to be made, and it was that play. And it was, Tyson, a catch that people make in 500 when they're throwing it around on the elementary school field. Like, that thing was a lollipop. He was wide open. He dove. He didn't have to dive. I mean, there was nobody around him.
And he overshot the dive.
It was brutal. And these are the plays that we're talking about. Bills can't get it done. And Tyson, how many times do we have to say it? It's every single time that somebody's in a Chiefs uniform, they seem to make the play. And on the other side, that team doesn't.
Yeah, it was just another example of that. I mean, you see the jersey right over here. It looked like Yoenis Cespedes trying to field like something in the outfield where maybe he could have been underneath it. Like it almost. And I don't mean to pile on 𝐸𝐿 Kincaid. It's not a situation you want to be in. But all year hurt, doesn't make play. Like this was a guy coming into the season. Is he going to ascend to a top 5 or even a top 3 tight end? Right. That was the discussion we were having this offseason. Doesn't really perform to start the year. Gets hurt, misses a bunch of time. But at the end of the day, like this is to really give yourself a chance to go to the Super Bowl. This is what's lost in this whole thing is we're talking about this wasn't to win the Super Bowl. This was just to beat the Chiefs. So I know it feels doubly charged up here, but this is a Tuesday for Kansas City, and it was a huge game for Buffalo. They didn't execute at the last moment, and it's another, whether it's 13 seconds or coin toss and overtime and all of these other little things, we can point back to every one of these playoff matchups and go, well, there's the 3 times the Bills didn't execute when they needed to, and there's the 3 times the Chiefs did. Our boy Colin Cowherd always says the difference between the corner office and the cubicle is one good decision every day.
And that's really what it comes down to, Tyson, which I want to go into this. Can the Buffalo Bills / Josh Allen ever get it done? Because right now, you talk about the 13 seconds. You talk about the overtime. This game, all were there for the taking. And if you're a Bills fan, you got to be sick to your stomach because it's like, what do we have to do here? And I think Josh Allen's sitting there saying, what more do I have to do? Because this guy's put on the cape multiple times. And then, you know, there's plays that he probably wanted back, Tyson. But I'm looking at it here. 22 of 34, 237, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He did have 3 fumbles, recorded all 3 of them. You know, 1 drop, kind of knocked out of his hand, the absurd decision to go over the line and things like that. But, you know, 11 rushes, 39 more yards, and that didn't get into the end zone on that front. But 71 QBR, 104.7 passer rating. I mean, pretty comparable numbers to Mahomes. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like his guy was awful. Yet they come up short again. You said coaching off the top. I thought Joe Brady was awful, the offensive coordinator in this one. I mean, freaking James Cook, 13 carries, 85 yards, 2 touchdowns, 6.5 yards a carry, had 3 catches, 49 yards. How do you not give him the ball more? I mean, it's ridiculous. And Ty Johnson's a nice piece in the regular season. You're not playing in September, brother. This is freaking to go to the Super Bowl. Like, knock that off. And then, like you said, McDermott gets destroyed again on national TV, that defense. So what do you think it takes for the Bills and Josh Allen to get over this hump?
For the Kansas City reign to close. Like, I think that's what a lot of teams in the AFC are waiting for. And will they ever get it done? I think so. I still think he's going to win Super Bowl. He's not, like, let's say he has 7 more years of like high level Josh Allen play. In one of those, I think they're going to sneak in. This is like an unprecedented thing. This is like the Brady Patriots, like, were the first time we've ever seen this, and then it just happened again. And so now we're used to one of these teams just showing up year over year. But this is even a little different. I mean, 5 Super Bowl appearances in 6 years, Brad, is like a level. This is LeBron in the East, basically, is what's going on. And to me, and I don't mean to glaze Chiefs too hard here, but like, with LeBron in the East, it was like, well, nobody else plays in the East. This is easy. All the good quarterbacks in the NFL that we talk about are in the AFC, and he just beats them. And so, yes, I think that Josh Allen and the Bills can get it done, and I'm not sure how much of it is their fault. There are 3 or 4 other Peyton Mannings in the AFC right now, just waiting for Brady to fall off the mountain.
Yo, it's interesting because that's kind of the thing going around, right? And, you know, kind of everybody's going to the Jordan era, and it was like, you know, how many of these Hall of Famers would have championships? You know, Barkley, Stockton, Malone, you kind of go Drexler, you know, you kind of go through this whole thing, but when Drexler with the Blazers, I should say, but you got to go through this whole thing, right? It's like, well, is that what's going on here? We have the Brady era, then we have the Mahomes era. At least when Brady was playing, though, Tyson, like Flacco won, you know,
it felt like they had a chance.
It felt like
they could win when they went into their building.
It's like, if this guy Josh Allen can't do it, and he's the second best quarterback in the league, it's like, what has to happen? I honestly, Tyson, and we like Sean McDermott, and we think he gets a little over criticized. At a certain point, though, it's the definition of insanity in Buffalo. Like, you can't just keep running back the same thing and expecting different results. This might be Tony Dungy in Tampa. All of a sudden, it took John Gruden to come in and they won a championship. You know, it was Dungy's players, it was Dungy's culture. Yeah, but sometimes you need a different guy to come in and shake things up. He's a nice guy, you know, he's a good leader. Like, people like him, like this Buffalo Bills team. And Terry Pagula, the owner of the Buffalo Bills, you know he's patient and he's not reactive because he owns the freaking Sabres. And I've said that multiple times. That franchise is a disaster in the NHL, and yet he still just kind of goes out there and goes about things. I don't know if they're going to do this, but I think there might need to be a regime change. One, Brandon Beane, Tyson, the GM.
Let's talk.
I think if I'm Terry Pegula, I would fire him right now for trading and allowing Xavier Worthy to go to the Chiefs. Like, that's fireable right now, first of all. I mean, the Mahomes thing, nobody quite knew, but you knew if you're going to give Xavier Worthy to Patrick Mahomes, that was a bad idea. Yet they did it anyway. He'd be out of the job. Just me personally, I don't know if they're going to do that. I think there's a time that Buffalo might need to look at a different head coach. And I know you're taking a big risk because it's been a success here, but boy, you can't just keep going after it like this.
We said it in August, and we weren't the only ones, or in April, excuse me, and we weren't the only ones that said it, but it was like the Buffalo Bills just lost the AFC Championship game. We hadn't seen 𝐾𝐿 Coleman or Xavier Worthy put on the pads, but it was just like, it was so obvious that this was the way this whole thing was going to work out for these two franchises in particular. And for Xavier Worthy to show up and play well was a nice another middle finger here to Brandon. I mean, you go out, you get Von Miller as the Pat Mahomes stopper. Was he playing yesterday? I think he recorded one assistant tackle, and that was it. I don't even know if he had multiple pressures in the snaps that he was on the field for. They are obsessed with beating the one team that they can't beat in the playoffs, and they get small in the big moments. And I don't know, if I don't think they're moving on for Sean McDermott. I don't think that there are many other options like available right now that they'd feel better than having Sean McDermott. But he kind of feels like maybe Lil Red is following in Big Red's footsteps a little bit here, and he's a defensive guy, right? So that's like the harder part about talking yourself into, well, he can go somewhere else and win. It's like, you are a defensive guy. You've been gifted the second best quarterback in the NFL. You had Diggs for a couple of years. James Cook elevates this offense. It gives you a running game. And they've tried with Keon Coleman and Amari Cooper and Dalton Kincaid and the investments they've made at these skill position players. But on paper, they should be 2-2 in these matchups, and they just can't get it done.
No, they can't do it. And Tyson, I want to close here, and we got a lot of time to talk about it, but you mentioned that the Chiefs have just been dominant, and there's times they drive me crazy. I think there is clear advantages that they get from the referees at times. I'm not going to say that their success is only because the referees, because we're not stupid. I mean, you have the best coach, you have the best quarterback in the NFL. You're going to win a lot of games. We saw that forever up in New England with Brady and Belichick. We saw that forever in San Francisco, with Montana. I mean, just go through the list. Like I said, if you're tuning in for the first time, I said this. Go through the list in the history of the NFL. The best quarterback and the coach wins all the time. And that's what we have here. So it's not just, the NFL's refs are giving it to them. They certainly get the benefit of the calls at times. I mean, even the Chiefs fans, if you're not admitting that, you are just I see Nick Wright, and we don't take shots of their shows here. That guy needs a reality check, because it's just absurd, man. Like, holy smokes! Just admit that you get some calls. Like, it's fine, brother. Holy smokes. But it's just impressive. Like every iteration, Tyson, we had the high flying version, and then we're scoring 50. And it was like, we have no weapons. Mahomes has to go on the road. And now it's like a hybrid. And they just continue to get it done. When they need to do it most, they rise to the occasion. And no matter who's thrown in front of them, they have beaten. And it has been extremely impressive.
Yeah, and it's like we were in hindsight, when they lost, it 2019 was when they brought in Spagnuolo in that offseason, I think that was the one maybe. But regardless, we celebrated a loss, and all it did was equip them now with the best defensive coordinator in football to go along with all of these other things they have. And Chris Jones and those guys don't get any credit. Defense was good enough again. And that's really the name of the game. We sat here, well, the defense isn't as good as it was last year, and is that going to mean they're going to lose? Well, they made the plays they needed to make when they needed to make them, which is just emblematic of this entire run that they've been on. We were around for, we remember a little bit of the early Brady days, but everything else was kind of, I would say, 2005 onward for myself. Right around 9 years old was when really stuff started clicking. I'm kind of just trying to enjoy it. I know it sucks, and I certainly don't want them to win this Super Bowl. Go Birds! But it's one of those things where I'm just like, damn, I don't want to be looking around one day remember how much I hate it, because I did it with other athletes, and then they retire, and I'm like, that was pointless. So I'm with the Chiefs a little bit as far as I like watching them play and watching them win, but this is getting ridiculous, dude. They are so overperforming every time because it's not a roster building thing. Like the GM gets a ton of credit and they have a lot of talent, but so do all the other teams in the NFL, and they just continue to beat them.
Yeah, I mean it is impressive, and Mahomes didn't have his best regular season, and in the biggest game, when people are saying, "Is this the time that they go down?" 99th percentile game on dropback success rate. It's just absurd. And Andy Reid continues to call great games. I think there are some Chiefs fans that are driven a little crazy from the inside the goalie go situation type of play calling they roll out. But listen, if that's what you're going to get for what you've had, I will take that over anything else, to be completely honest with you. So, I mean, it's been a great run from Kansas City. It doesn't seem like it's slowing down anytime soon. But with that being said, Tyson and I got to break everything down into the Super Bowl. Like, we got a lot of time, so we're going to have a lot to discuss about Kansas City going forward. We're going to try to poke holes in this team. That's going to be later in the week. That's going to be next week. Coming up next is going to be our NFC Championship Game reaction. So you want to stay tuned for that. Tyson and I are Eagles fans, so I think hopefully we'll try not to have it bleed through. But like Tyson said last time, I think it will no matter what. So tune into that. We'll talk to you guys then. Peace.